Hello, everyone. Kiri from the Red Dawn here, and welcome back to the channel. Manchester City 4, Liverpool nil. I am done. I'm physically and mentally exhausted by what this football club has become under this man. If you're just tuning in, you all know what happened. We've been humiliated by Man City in the FA Cup quarter final. It wasn't just a loss, it was a total spineless surrender at the Etihad. And I don't want to hear about transitions or process anymore. And if Arne Slot has a shred of decency or respect for this football club, he should walk into that boardroom and hand in his resignation on Monday. He is absolutely out of his depth, and we are a sinking ship right now. And we are sinking faster than what I've ever thought possible. Let's look at the game because for 35 minutes, it was a different world, wasn't it? We actually played an attacking style of football. We had him on the ropes. We were playing front foot attacking football. Hugo Katike, he was making runs. Florian Wirtz was finding space. And we even saw Salah have a massive chance, and he somehow butchered it. We were the better team, but that's the Slot era in a nutshell. All style, zero substance. We were playing scintillating football for half an hour. It was actually pretty to watch. But as soon as City upped the intensity, we just didn't bend. We snapped in half. The 39th minute, that's when the nightmare began and the reality of why this team, under this fraud of a manager, is not good enough. Virgil van Dijk, a captain who looks like he's forgotten how to defend, he gives away a stonewall penalty to Nico O'Reilly. Virgil, you could complain all you want, but you always blame others but yourself. That's not a true leader. You have to hold accountability, mate. You were the culprit of that penalty. Not good enough. Haaland steps up. It's 1-0. And from that moment, we just didn't lose the lead. We lost our minds. We sat back. We invited them on, and we became a team of statues. And in the stoppage time in the first half, we concede once again. It is absolutely unforgivable. You know, Haaland heads it in from a Semenyo cross, completely unmarked. It's 2-0 at the half. You think would come out for the second half. We've seen Liverpool teams of the past, if they're one or two goals down, especially with Jurgen Klopp in charge, you think would uh, come out all firing all cylinders. Instead of a reaction, we just sat on the fence. We get a lob from Antoine Semenyo for 3-0, and by the 57th minute, Haaland finishes his hat trick off a crossbar. The City fans, they're doing the Poznan in the stands while our fans are heading for the exits. 4-0, 4 goals in 20 minutes of football. That isn't a bad day. It's a systematic failure of coaching and leadership. And after the game, Slot actually had the nerve to say this in the press conference. He missed the fighting spirit. What fighting spirit was there, Anna? After those 30 to 35 minutes, there was no fucking spirit at all, you know? And he even admitted it as well. He was already thinking about the PSG game while we were getting absolutely battered. You know, how can you lead this club with that mentality? Nothing will change under him. The players aren't playing for him anymore, and he can't fix the basics. What is the point? What is the point now? Even when we got a penalty when we were 4-0 down to at least show a bit of pride, Salah has it saved. It's rot from top to bottom, and it starts with the man in the dugout. He needs to go before he does any more damage to this football club. We go to Paris on Wednesday for the Champions League, and if we play this sit back and pray tactic against PSG, they will put 5 or 6 goals against us, and maybe even 7. That was unintended, by the way, but it will be a global embarrassment. PSG, they'll be licking their lips. They'll absolutely be licking their lips for this one, you know? And if Slot stays for that game, we are effectively waving the white flag for the season. This isn't Liverpool. This isn't what we stand for. We are a club of mentality monsters, and he turned us into mentality midgets. When you've got thousands of the most loyal fans in world football, people who stayed through the worst of the Roy Hodgson era, the dark times when Brendan Rodgers was in charge, that 6-1 humiliation to Stoke, and you see them walking out after 60 minutes, you know the soul of this club is at stake. We see the talent on that pitch. We see the first 35 minutes where we actually look like Liverpool. But as soon as things get tough, Slot just stands there with his hands in his pockets, and we're getting fucked over by the Man City Bonnie Blues while sitting on a cuck chair. There's no fire, no tactical shift. It's just a slow motion car crash. The Xavi Alonso chants, they weren't just a tribute to a legend, they were a cry for help. We want someone who gets it. Alonso represents everything that Slot isn't. He's a winner. He's got that heavy metal DNA, and he is available right now. And as for FSG, they're playing a dangerous game at the moment. They pride themselves on data and long term stability. But the data says we've lost 15 games this season in all competitions. Stability is great, but if you don't stay stable while the ship is sinking, if they wait until after PSG to act, they aren't breaking, they aren't backing their man. They're just watching the house burn down. If Slot had any dignity, he'd see those empty seats and those fans singing Xavi's name and realize he lost the one you could never win back at Anfield. And that is belief. And you know what? Any Liverpool fans, if you're not going to, if you're not going, the first leg is at the Parc de Prince. Second leg would be at Anfield. I don't blame you if you don't go to the second leg at Anfield. It's simply not good enough. They have to make a statement. If Slot sees empty seats at Anfield, then he knows his time is up. You know, we keep we keep rocking up to the stands. We keep supporting the boys. It's time they repay the faith. And you know, and maybe it's time for FSG to act a pair or two as well. Let's get into the player ratings, and let's be honest. This is going to be a brutally honest one as well. The, the highest rating is a 5 as well. No one gets a 6 or anything better than that. But let's get into it. Georgie Babadashvili, not his fault entirely with the 4 goals. He was left out to dry by the 10 players in front of him. Couple of decent saves, and his long passing was actually one of the only attacking outlets. But he conceded 4. He gets a 5 out of 10 for me because it wasn't his fault entirely. And that's one of the highest grades as well. Joe Gomez started okay against Doku, but then he just fell off. He fell off a cliff afterwards. Far too easily run off the ball, and that throwing mistake for City's third. It was just pure Sunday League stuff. He gets a 4. Ibrahima Kanate, Haaland absolutely threw him like a rag doll. He was absolutely bullied. Lost him completely for the second goal, and he looked like he never seen a cross coming for his life. It was hapless. He gets a 3. Virgil van Dijk, we talked about his mistake, and if this is what leadership looks like, we're in trouble. We're absolutely in trouble. It was a lazy dead brain challenge for the penalty, and that completely changed the whole game. He's out of all sorts, and he is a shadow of his former self. He's finished. Virgil van Dijk, he gets a 2 out of 10. Milos Kerkez, probably the only one who can hold his head up high, even slightly. He showed a bit of fight and commitment before the rest of the team decided to stop running. He gets a 5 out of 10. Moving into the midfield, and that is always the biggest culprit there as well, starting with Ryan Gravenberg. Yeah, just the total ghost. 0 protection for the back 4, easily played through, 4 out of 10. And a yellow card as well. Absolutely reckless challenge. Curtis Jones, I thought he worked hard. I was quite happy with his selection in the starting 11. Maybe the manager wanted some fighting Scouse spirit. And he seemed to be up the fight for times as well. But when he had the ball, his passing was a bit of a hit and miss. He held the ball for too long as well. And unfortunately, didn't really impose himself. He gets a 5 out of 10 for me. Dominic Soboslai, where was he? You know, for someone who's meant to be our engine, he was the peripheral figure, and he had 0 impact on the game. He gets a 4 for me. Florian Wirtz, I thought he looked dangerous for about 20 minutes. but then he just vanished. It was unfortunately another nothing performance when we needed a spark. How can you go from balling out for Germany to play like that? It's partly because of the manager, but still not good enough. He gets a 4 for me as well. Moving on to the attack, Mohamed Salah. Yeah, just painful to watch. Missed a sitter early on, and that penalty miss. Yeah, it was just the embarrassing cherry on top. His head's gone. We know he's leaving, and it's sad to watch. He gets a 3 out of 10. Hugo Katike, we know what he could do. Always shows some smart movement. He was dropping deep, playing in the wide areas as well, playing that Cody Gakpo sort of role. I wish he played a lot more centrally. But yeah, just wasteful when he had a few chances coming his way. And as soon as City ran over the top of us, he became anonymous as well. He gets a 5, but because he at least showed some fight, but was anonymous for the rest of it. Moving on to the subs. Yeah, just completely hard to judge here because the game was all said and done when all these guys came on. Jeremy Frimpong, we know he adds some pace onto the right hand side. Alexis McAllister, yeah, not much to say about him. We know he's not at the races at this moment. Came on when the game was all said and done. Cody Gakpo, don't need to say much about him. Ria Ngamoa, yeah, I just thought was, tries to inject pace, but I think just a drain of confidence when you're throwing him in when we're 3 or 4 goals down. And Federico Chiesa, yeah, he's out the door, isn't he? I'm just going to give him a non-applicable for all these guys because, hadn't changed the game, and it was all said and done when they all came on the pitch. But that is it for me. I'm going to head off before I lose my head completely. The bottom line is that 4-0 at the Etihad, it is a disgrace. But the way we just laid down and let them walk over us is what hurts the most. We've gone from being the team that nobody wanted to play to the team that everybody wants to play. That's been the summary for this season. And FSG, if you're watching this, and I doubt you are, but do the right thing. Get this guy gone. And also get rid of Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards as well. They are also part of the problem. Give us Xavi. Give us Steven Gerrard. Give us anyone who actually understands what this badge means, what playing for this badge means as well. We can't go to Paris with this sit back and pray mentality. It is going to be an absolute slaughter. And get in the comments. Let me know if you had enough. Are you Team Alonso or are you Team Gerrard? Or are you one of those 3 people who think Slot can turn this around? Like the video if you're fuming as I am. Give it a share. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And if you want me to suffer through the PSG review on Wednesday, and as always, for some reason, up the Reds. I'm out, everyone. See you guys.